The views and opinions expressed in each show are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its presenters as a whole. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
From across the USA, direct to the UK, you're listening to Paranormal Hindsight with Jay and Teresa, only on Parasearch UK Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Paranormal Hindsight. I'm your host, Jay Lynch, with my co-host,
Teresa Lynch.
And troublemaker at large.
No.
She is the troublemaker of the group, I'm telling y'all right now.
No, I'm
we
not.
absolutely have a wonderful show tonight. We have Miss Kristin Lee of the Bellaire house with us. Hi, Kristin. How are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm well. How are you two doing?
Same as
doing
always.
great.
Teresa's being mean, and I'm being good.
Nobody believes
I don't
that.
believe you.
It never hurts to
I think
try.
it's the other way around.
That's right.
It absolutely never hurts to try. So, for those of you that don't know, and if you don't know, you're really not paying attention to what's going on in the paranormal. Bellaire House is one of the most active locations in Ohio, probably one of the most haunted houses, some people claim, in the entire world. And it was just on Paranormal Lockdown with Nick Groff and stuff. So, and it was just aired over there in an episode of some shows in the UK. So, we're excited to have you on tonight.
Oh, thanks. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for including me. It's cool.
Well, thank you, Kristin. We're always happy to talk with you. You're such an
Absolutely.
interesting individual.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that,
You are. I love talking to you.
well, speaking on that point, why don't we kind of get in a little bit about Kristin herself before we get into the Bellaire house? I mean,
Okay.
kind of get a little bit about who she is and what all she does, plus how she came along with the Bellaire house. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine. So you just want to start with how I got to the Bellaire house?
That, or kind of talk about your history about, and I know you're a psychic medium, and along that
Yes.
lines, I mean, established, because the people saw a little bit about the Bellaire house, and they saw you probably in the show briefly, but now here's a chance you kind of tell a little bit more about your side of the story with you having been around it for all these years now, and what you do and what you've experienced and stuff, and then talk more about the house and booking stuff.
Sure, absolutely. Well, during the episode, the guy, Nick Groff and Rob and Katrina and Justin, they were so good to me. They were just amazing people. And Rob promised me he wouldn't make me look like a crybaby. And he didn't so much. You know what I mean? He didn't. But just that whole episode was so emotional. My goodness gracious, just the synchronicities of that, just our experiences, all of us being there. It was very overwhelming to the fact that I did have tears. And it wasn't, some of it was fear, but the other ones were just the energy that I was picking up from them and the energy that I was picking up from the house. And then, reflecting and telling my story and going into that energy and that psychological part of everything. That was an emotional roller coaster ride. I like, as a psychic, I'm still like, I left there, and we filmed all of this stuff on my birthday. So I left there and I came home to have cake and ice cream and dinner with my family, and I went straight to bed because I was literally drained. So it was just, it's like, give me the remote. I'm going to lay in bed and I'm just going to just chill out. And then we celebrated my birthday the next day. But, the house is just odd. For me, I have been, I didn't never label myself as a psychic medium until I started working in Salem, Massachusetts as a psychic. We never called ourselves that, growing up. I was always told, don't tell anybody what you are because people will perceive you in a different light. And I understand that now. I understand why my peers had always told me to kind of keep who I am to myself, because there's always that perception of others that could be positive or it could be negative. And I feel like they were always trying to protect me from that negative force,
Mm-hmm.
But as I get older, I don't walk up to people in grocery stores and say, oh my goodness, your deceased loved one is with you. I don't do that. That's disrespectful. But I do have a large clientele of people where I can actually now be a full-time metaphysician, a full-time psychic, a full-time medium, a full-time healer. And that's what I do. And I do work for one of the largest psychic hotlines in the world. That's big. And they chose me to be like the poster person for 2017. And they flew me out to LA and all that cool stuff. And my clientele globally, it's like we get calls from all over the world through that line. So, and I think how I ended up there was, there were some bad times. The Bellaire house was a bad time, but also too, after we left the Bellaire house and just spanning from a romantic relationship, one day I had just, raised my hands up in the air and pulled in that solar energy and, asked the gods, especially Apollo, Roman Apollo, not Greek Apollo, to put me where I'm supposed to be, help me to be able to find love and be able to reciprocate that love. And there was other things that I had petitioned, and to help the most people. I needed to be balanced from my journey, all of my journeys throughout my life at that point, to be able to help the most people. And I know that's why I'm here. And I know that's what my purpose is. So, that's a really cool thing. A lot of people walk around the world and they don't know, well, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? That's really cool because I've been blessed with knowing what my purpose is. So I am here to help the most people. Yeah. And I think that the Bellaire house is part of that makeup for me. There's just so many families like tonight, right now, at this very second, that are probably getting their blankets and pillows ready to all sleep in the living room tonight because they can't sleep in their bedrooms or they can't feel comfortable going upstairs. And I know what that's like. I've lived that. We all live that. And those are the kind of people that I want to be able to counsel, throughout just my training as through Stregoria, Italian witchcraft. And I'm also a master level forensic psychologist and a behavioral psychologist as well. So it's almost like when I was in the Bellaire house, I always ruled out paranormal. Yeah, I knew it existed, but I didn't ever realize that kind of negative paranormal existed, and certainly didn't understand why me. So I always blamed, oh my gosh, it's psychological. Maybe this is just all in my head because we've gone through so much. I mean, we ended up at the Bellaire house because of 2 flash floods, which left us homeless. We had nowhere to live. And then working 3 jobs and being in graduate school and having 2 children, all of that was just kind of, it was kicking my butt. So these things that were happening in the Bellaire house, I just brushed them off as, my goodness gracious, maybe I have PTSD now. Maybe I am just tired. Maybe I'm delusional. But there's only so many diagnoses that you can kind of self-diagnose yourself before you run out of them and be like, okay, well, none of this is connecting.
Right.
None of this is happening. And then you finally see that moment. And the moment for me was watching my dog, my best friend, Bella. Her name was Annabella, but we called her Bella for short. Watching her being thrown up against the wall by an entity, by something that was trying to harm me while she was trying to protect me. And at that point in time, I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew that there was something that was malicious in that house, and we had to leave.
I can't imagine going through that.
Yeah, that was tough. And it's still tough. it still bothers me, because you know how on Facebook and social media you have on this day where you have memories that come up.
Yeah.
There's always something from 2009, 2010 that comes up, the pictures of the kids in the house and Bella, of course, Bella. And there's times throughout the day where I just break down, still today, you know. But it's just, and that's why I titled the next book, is, you know, life, or how did I title it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but a normal life after paranormal. Because there is a normal life after paranormal, but you have to change everything. You know, you can't just live the ways. You can't live a mundane life anymore. It's impossible, because there's so many different risks that would kind of spiral you downward and put you back into that state of mind, and be open to those energies. Because I feel like once you're open to those energies, they're always there, and your shield always has to be up.
I was going to ask you, do you feel like that you and your family are, for lack of a better term, marked?
Wow, I never looked at it that way.
Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. I'll definitely think about it. I don't for that, because I never looked at it that way. But yeah, that's a great thing to think about. I'm sorry I don't have an answer, but definitely we know what it is, and it recognizes us. And I think that makes us a little, because of our experiences, it makes us teeter-totter back and forth to being more susceptible to that type of energy. Does that, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, it's like if you were to walk in to another location that had something not necessarily demonic, but negative or inhuman, do you think it would recognize you?
I don't know, but I know I would recognize it.
Yeah.
That's what because I don't know what it's like to be that.
I've been blessed that as long as I've been doing this, which isn't all that long, it's only 6 years, but we've never came across something like that. And and I don't want to. But,
right.
Oh, so you don't go to the Bellaire house with me?
Yes, I do want to go to the Bellaire house. But if I know that if I get scared, I'm going to Kristin's. But I just wonder if you recognize it, so I would think that it would recognize you.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I can definitely decipher what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and what feels, oh boy, I better step back. You know, and I don't follow my head. I don't follow my heart anymore. I follow what comes through my gut, my belly button, honestly.
Right.
Because if I don't trust that energy, I'm backing up from it. But there are times where that energy pushes you, that entity pushes you to the point where you have to face it. You have no choice. And you have to have a very strong will and stand your ground in order to do so. And I do know how to be that kind of a spiritual warrior as well. I don't necessarily like to go on the front line all the time, but thank all the gods that I know how to do it if I ever have to do it again. You know, and that's what I want to start teaching people. Yeah. And that's really why I'm just starting to shift from psychic medium to also like paranormal counselor for families. That's really what is going to be coming up for 2018. I'm really shifting that, because there are so many families. Because we have been doing this for so long, and my story has been coming out, I do have families that reach out to me, and I'm trying my best to help them. And they understand that there's times where I'm physically depleted and I can't help them. But as soon as I start feeling better, that's when we can all start helping each other again. Because we're all in this together. There is no separation. There's no divide. You know,
right.
There is not.
All right. Now, you said that you arrived at the Bellaire house due to 2 flash floods.
Yes.
So, can you kind of take us through, like, these flash floods happen, and I know nobody can really predict those, but I just can't help but think that you were guided.
Yeah, absolutely. The
Bellaire house.
Yeah, the synchronicity from Okay. So my grandmother, who was basically, I considered her my mother. My biological mother's awesome, but my grandmother was the cat's meow. You know what I mean? I love that woman so much. She's no longer with us, but she's with me every day, you know, and I look exactly like her. I mean, she just a spitting image of her. She was remarkable, but the second flash flood, okay, the first flood that came through was called Ivan. And in Kenner, Louisiana, that's where it originated from. Ivan just destroyed Louisiana. And we tried to rebuild. The prison guards came down from the prisons, and I was working alongside prison guards with a warden over top of me, ripping out carpet in our home and trying to salvage whatever we could salvage. And we did that for probably 4 or 5 days straight. And we honestly thought we could rebuild. And I went to work the next day, and it hit again. As the second flood came through, and the storm's name was Francis. So I don't know. I mean, the synchronicity of that is just eerie to me, because it gets even thicker. It gets even more thicker. As I was led to the Bellaire house. I mean, we stayed in FEMA campers. Sometimes we slept on porches. Sometimes we slept in cars. Sometimes we slept in family members' homes. And when the FEMA campers were full, they would be able to put us in hotel rooms. But so many people were affected by the flood that there were no hotel rooms, you know, and our whole family, our entire family on my son's side was affected. There was 5 families. So when I say we were homeless. Yeah, we couldn't go to family members' homes. Thank God my parents were here, you know, so we would stay with them sometimes. But, you know, when you get into the research and history of the Bellaire house, Jacob Hetherington was a very prominent coal miner, and he is the one that originated all of the coal mines. He founded all the coal mines in Bellaire. And his granddaughter lied. He built that house for her. The Bellaire house was built for her. And he actually went through the flood himself. Jacob Hetherington went through the flood, and he lost everything too. So there's another correlation. How we lost everything, the Hetheringtons lost everything.
Wow.
It's from the same river, you know. It's spooky how coincidental, how the synchronicities kind of correlate and line up. And it's just, sometimes I just sit back in my chair and I'm like, wow, this is so hard to believe. I can't believe this. And I can't believe I'm a part of this. There's something bigger. There's something higher, a higher divine, a higher spirit that is working here. And I don't know exactly what they want me to do, but I will tell you this. I will not disrespect them, and I feel like their story needs to be heard. I feel like some things have been brushed under the rug, and in spirit, that has not allowed them to completely transition to the next dimension. And I feel like sometimes that they're using me as that catalyst to help them. But that's the good parts of the Bellaire house. Then there's the ugly parts of the Bellaire house, and I don't understand that at all. And I can't even wrap my head to begin to try to connect the dots with the demonic and human negative parts of that. I don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
But
it had to. It obviously was brought in by someone. Now, do you believe that? Because, well, let me ask this: did I read somewhere that one of the Hetheringtons, I think you said, did seances?
Yes.
Do you believe
yes, he did.
that those brought in some of the negativity?
Yes, I do. Edwin Hetherington was Jacob Hetherington's grandson. Now, this is, oh my gosh, Teresa, I can't wait to finish the next book. It's going to be so thick. Okay, so Edwin Hetherington absolutely was a seer, but he was also a twin. And he had lost his sister. His sister transitioned when she was very young, 3, 4, maybe 5 years old at the latest. I have to look at my documents to get the exact age. So Edwin Hetherington learned about the afterlife at a very tender young age. And you know that when in human psychology, when we experience a traumatic experience like death at anything under, 10 years old, that leaves an imprint on us in our psychological makeup. And that connected him to the afterlife. He learned at a very young age, where did my sister go? Is there something above us? So he dove into that. He always was fascinated with that. And then when his sister died in the house, that's when he just started reaching out to different seers, is what they called them back in the day, to come to the Bellaire house to connect him to his deceased loved ones inside of the Bellaire house. So he did that for a few years, and then he became so confident and so in tune in the training that he received from the psychic mediums, or what they were called back then as seers. He also harnessed his abilities to become a psychic medium and a conjurer. He conjured spirits to communicate with them. And I don't know how advanced he was, because I wasn't alive. So who knows what he opened and what his abilities or education was to close. And that's part of the Bellaire house history as well. And we're dealing with that also too. He comes through all of the time. Edwin is very communicative in the house.
Has he been able to give you any insight as to what else is there?
No. I just started to build, and this sounds strange, I've just started to build a little bit more of a trusting rapport with him over the past couple of months, because I understand him better now. Before, I didn't understand him. And when we don't understand things, our human instinct is to be fearful of it. I'm not fearful of him anymore.
Okay.
And therefore we can have a little bit more, there's more communication. There's more things that are coming through. He has appeared to me in a full apparition. And that's why I asked a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Valentine's Day, or before Valentine's Day, if anybody can find a legitimate picture of Edwin Hetherington, they can have a free night at the Bellaire house. I just want to see if there's any photographs out there that I can match up from what he showed me he looked like to an actual tangible photograph. And so far, it's not been successful. No one's been able to find anything. There's so many different Edwin Hetheringtons, and that it's going to be like finding a needle in a haystack.
Right.
And we've even reached out to some of the Hetherington family members on Ancestry.com, and none of them have any photographs of the Edwin Hetherington.
That's kind of odd, isn't it? That not even family has a picture of him?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now, we did find out, too, we just found this out about 3 weeks ago, and not too many, really no one knows this. This is the first time I've disclosed it. For the longest time, we thought that Lyda and Edwin were Jacob's children, and that's not the case. It's his grandchildren. Their father was named Alex Hetherington, and when the coal mine under the house, it's called coal mine number 1, it caught fire. And they lost all of the coal mine. So they lost their coal mining business. And in the 1800s, they were already millionaires. I mean, could you imagine that money?
Oh,
8 million, millions in the 1800s. Yeah. Just from little rinky-dink Bellaire, Ohio. But they spent I think it was I'd have to look, but it was in 1800s. They spent $8,000 to try to put out that fire in that coal mine, and it was not successful. And we have that newspaper document to prove that. Then, moving forward, Alex, their father, Jacob's son, and Lyda and Edwin's dad, he became so depressed, and he was dually diagnosed. I have his handwritten commitment papers to a lunatic asylum in Akron, Ohio. He lost his mind, and that's why Lyda signed the draft card for Edwin Hetherington when he enlisted in the military. So all of this now is just finally starting to make sense to me. There was something more going on in that family. Epilepsy. And we know with demonic cases, look at the history of demonology. They always blamed epilepsy as being demonic.
Right.
And there's always a correlation with that. What if it wasn't epilepsy, guys? What if it really wasn't? What if Alex was really possessed? And that's what we're trying to figure out. And if he was, then it was there way before Edwin Hetherington started messing with mediumship and conjuring and all of that. It had to have been there way before then. So we can take it back to the land. Well, the land is the stomping grounds for the French and Indian War. There is bloodshed upon that land. There were people that were murdered, killed on that land because of the French and Indian War. You know, and plus the ley line, for crying out loud. The ley line's right there. It's just, there's, I don't know how I ended up there. I just wanted a house. That's it.
But it's got so much things with the natural energy and tragedy associated with the property without even being associated with what happened with the home itself and what happened underneath the home. So that's amazing. Yeah. You know, and what's so strange is, you know how like say you're shopping on Amazon or something, or eBay, or looking for that perfect scarf to go with your kitty cat shoes. You know what I'm saying? Something silly like that.
Right.
And then you just start focusing on this one little thread. And you scroll up and down and you always go back to that one thread. You go back to that one picture because you're drawn to it. That's exactly what happened to me when I was looking at the Bellaire house on the internet. There were so many beautiful other homes, but I just kept going back, scrolling with my mouse up and down on that Bellaire house. I don't know why, but it just happened that way.
Wow.
Yeah, something was bringing you towards it. Something was definitely catching your attention to it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're just probably feeling the energy from it with all your other abilities and stuff, even through the looking at it on the internet.
Yeah, and I don't think that I was aware of it because of what we had gone through. Like, you know, when you go through things that traumatic, natural disasters or death or anything, that takes a toll on your physical. And, you know, you just kind of push those, well, at least I can push those abilities aside and focus on healing and balancing and blocking, you know, the stuff that I channel. So I don't even think that I was using psychic abilities, or it was just so natural that I wasn't even aware of it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I understand it. No, I don't know what you mean because I don't have any abilities. This microphone's got more abilities than I do. But from talking with you and Teresa and so many others, I understand it in a practical sense, just not in a actually understand it as far as experiencing it. And I won't get the chance to.
Yeah, you know, it's just like I was telling you guys a little bit ago, you know, Friday when I was at the house, I wasn't well when I came home. Something had definitely caught my attention and drained me. It was draining. And I'll tell you, I've been so super duper strong. I've been so super duper cautious on how I protect myself, and you know, always making sure that my body's clean, my shield is clean, I'm cleansing everything, you know, always, you know, just keeping iron on me at all times because iron repels negative energy. Always wearing my pendulums and my crystals and stuff like that. But whatever, I had a good run, you know, I had almost a 2-year good run of not getting attacked. But I, you know, in this field, you know, one day it's going to come.
Yeah, all good things must come to an end.
Right, and it finally did. And thank all of the gods that I have the resources that I do, you know, in order to be able to kind of balance out from that. But when I came home Friday, I was vomiting. Like, I had the worst migraine I've ever had in my life, ever. And I remember laying on my bed, you know, after I took an hour's worth of kosher salt. I threw that in the bathtub. I threw different herbs in the bathtub as well, just to clean my shield and get all that residual energy off of me. I know that sounds, to some people that might sound silly, but it does work. It is metaphysics. It is scientific. It does work. But I was laying on my bed, and my son had been gone all weekend. We had a 4-day weekend because of President's Day, and he was staying with family members, and it was just me and the cats here at the house. My son's bedroom door opened up for no reason at all. There were kitchen cabinets that were opening up in the kitchen, and all 3 cats were with me on the bed for no reason at all. You know, and it got to me again. I felt like I was living inside the Bellaire house for a couple of minutes, and I had to, like, step back. And I was craving, like, rare porterhouse steaks. All I wanted to do was eat rare porterhouse meat. That's all I wanted to do. And at one point in time, even though I was so nauseous and so sick, I was at the front door putting my shoes on to go to Outback Steakhouse because I was going to go get a steak.
Oh, wow.
That's how intense it was. And I know that's not psychological. And I know to people in my field of counseling psychology, they would probably lock me up if I told them this. And that's what I'm trying to do here. There is a fine line between paranormal and psychology. And there's that in between, there's that gray area. And I can prove that there is that gray area because I've lived it firsthand. These people that, not just me, but other family members that are going through these experiences, they're not crazy. They're not. There's something else. It's something else. And we're all of us, paranormal investigators, parapsychologists, psychics, mediums, witches, we're all trying to figure out what is that? What is that definitive answer? How can we prove this? And I oh God, I can't wait till the day comes when somebody finally figures it out.
I think there's more people who get it figured out, in my opinion. Nowadays, we're just too unaccepting of it, for a better term. You know what I mean? I mean, you see things in your life all the time, and you know it happened. You know you experienced it. You know it, saw it, but you tried to deny it. And I'm not even talking about paranormal things. Just it can't be real. That couldn't have really happened, and we know it did.
Right.
So I think there's a lot more people that have it figured out. We're just not that accepting of it. We don't want to admit to it because then we have to really question everything.
Right. It's like we have to rebuild a foundation of history.
History, religions, everything.
Yeah, because it's like everything that I've been taught. It
absolutely questions everything.
Everything I've been taught is now blown out of the water.
I think that's a lot of the reason why we don't get an advancement in this field, because some people really don't want to know. They think they want to know the answers, and then when they think they have a little bit of a crack of light of seeing it, it's such life-altering. Everything you think could be possibly changed in that one instant, and now what do you do?
That's right.
And I think we're actually closer than what a lot of people think, or don't want to admit because they're afraid of what's really there. And can we absolutely handle that openness and that freedom of our minds? Just my thoughts.
Yeah, it is. It's true. I mean, there's so many different kinds of organized religions, and the Calvinistic religion. Oh, gosh darn, let's go back to, let's go back to Great Britain, and then let's move across the ocean to what's now known as Salem, Massachusetts. I mean, that's all Calvinistic blueprints of life. It is what it is,
Yeah. Oh yeah, and to have that absolutely challenged, I really think there's some people and it's not me. I'll guarantee you that it's not me. I'm learning how to just now. Actually, I'm not learning. I'm reverting back to putting down the equipment on some investigations and just experience and feel the energy. Just let it be. I'm not going to find some. I'm not going to capture evidence that's going to prove thing to anybody that doesn't want to believe. So why would I deny myself that experience or that interaction to try to get proof to somebody that doesn't want to have anything proven to them anyway?
Yeah, there's nothing to prove upon your own personal experience because you're the one that's look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, it shocks them so much that it's so easy to be a skeptic, and not just in this field, in life in general. You can convince yourself that it didn't really happen if that's truly what you want to do. You can deny it all you want. I mean, there's people that's done that about tragedies in their lives. Block it out mentally, and it's been proved with what you do for a living and your training. So why wouldn't it be in this? Why couldn't it be that simple with this, that we actually have experienced more things than what we want to admit to ourselves? We just rationalize it away because we can't actually handle the real reality of it.
Right. That reminds me, when we were kids, probably 14, 15, we were all driving home. It was like we were all in trouble because it was past midnight. We were just playing around too late. And we were on the interstate, and we ran out of gas. And my brother and I looked at each other like, we're going to have our asses kicked. Yep. Dad's going to kill us. And out of nowhere, nowhere. No, I mean, yeah, there's interstate, there's busy cars, but this man, I clearly remember he looked. I don't know if you've ever seen Little House on the Prairie, Mr. Edwards.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what this man looked like. He looked like Isaiah off of Little House on the Prairie, and he showed up, had a gas can, and my friend Tom went behind the van to fill it up with him, because Tom's like, everybody just stay in the van. He was the oldest. He's like, I'll deal with this. And we didn't listen to him. We were kids. So we jumped out to thank this guy, and he was gone. He was nowhere to be found. And we all started crying, because just that cold chill, that glory be to God, that holiness, that all of us thought that this man just was an angel. We really thought that he was there at the right time, like he was sent to us to help us. I've never told anybody that. I've never, ever.
But he probably was. I mean, there's so much going on in the world that you can't tell me that there's not some form of intervention by something more outside of us, that we're just so narrow-minded about life and so close to it, and think that we got it all so figured out when we really don't know squat. We have no idea what we're doing.
Right. That's why I like talking to you guys, because you always make me remember things.
But as long as they're good things.
Yeah, and they're always good things. I mean, it's just like when we get together, it's always like really super mellow and positive and cool. It's awesome.
That's the way it should be. You should have every once in a while. I mean, life's challenging enough. You should every once in a while have somebody that you can actually sit down and discuss it. Even if even if we don't agree on something, we still maintain the same mentality. We actually kind of like and actually listen to understand and not listen to respond. That's my biggest thing with people nowadays. Most people don't listen to understand; they listen to respond, and they don't hear what it was said to them, and they're responding to just nonsense. Because listen,
right? You said something earlier, and I'm going to get to, like the cleansing portion, because you said something earlier, that you would put salt on the bottoms of your feet, like your shoes.
Yes. My teachers, my elders always taught me that when you leave any kind of a location that deals with, whether it be a wake or a grave site, or what we do, haunted locations, it's imperative to get like a water bottle and put kosher salt. I've always been told kosher salt because it's blessed by clergy. It doesn't matter what kind of clergy, just as long as it's blessed. And shake that up in the bottle and dump it on the bottom of your shoes before you get into your car, because you can carry residual energy home with you. And as soon as you get home, put your shoes on the front porch. Don't bring them in the house, and get your butt in the shower and put, salt at the base of your shower and swish it back and forth between your feet. Because once you mix that blessed salt with the water, it's holy water. And at that point you're blessed. And all of that residual energy leaves your shield, and you become clean.
I never knew that. I had heard somebody else, and I can't remember who it was, mention about putting salt on their shoes.
What if I put salt in my shoes? Well, that's going to be awful rough to walk around all night on.
Ooh, that would be bad. Don't do that.
You need it on the part that touches the ground.
No, I was saying, what if I put it in my shoe? That way, the whole time I'm walking around inside a haunted location, I have that kosher. But
that'd
be awfully.
That'd be like walking on sandpaper like a moron.
Yeah.
Which means it's something I'll try out to see what happens.
I don't want to hear any complaining afterwards.
Hey, the salt will help with the wounds.
It's like pouring salt on the wounds.
Yeah.
But I use that kosher salt so much that I actually made my own remedy for it, like my own homeopathic recipe. I take a lot of olive oil, pure virgin, 100% olive oil, and lotion, just like Bath and Body Works lotion, and I mix that together with the salt, because I'm always putting that in my water when I bathe or when I shower. and that just kind of softens the skin a little bit so the salt doesn't dry your skin out so much. That's why I should really start buying stock and lotion, because I mean, I'm so well preserved, you know.
I'm pickled from the inside out, but that's a whole different issue.
Right.
That's too much time at the local pub. But yeah, it's just kind of, I mean, with the salt, that makes sense with it already being blessed. You put it in water, it's now. And you know what? I absolutely, you earned another level of respect for me in the most simplistic way with this conversation just now, because when you said that about the salt, you said you use kosher salt because it's already blessed, but instead of pushing one religion or another, you said it doesn't matter what any kind of clergy that bless it. And I respect that you're not
Still
trying.
blessed.
Yeah, it's but so many people want to push one doctrine over another, and that openness is not something you find nowadays. It really isn't. And to have it in the field, this field, is a good way to promote things also.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the intent of the person. It's the good intentions of the person that is blessing it. It doesn't matter what faith base they are. As long as we all have that love and that positive light, you know, that's just the battle. You know, that's where the light overcomes, or the positive overcomes the negative. It's the way that it has to be. We have to shift our perception. Humanity has to shift our perception with labels and all of that. We have to start doing that. There is not a choice.
Oh, I agree, and it's just nice to hear somebody say that and set an example for it and live it and lead the way. And
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That just was absolutely amazing to me, and I thank you for that honesty and that openness.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. You're never going to have to wonder what I'm thinking about, Jay. I'm a
I know.
no-good
You're like me. If somebody asks, we'll go, okay, you wanted to know.
You wanted to know.
Right.
Here it goes.
you open that can of worms, here it comes. But yeah, that's so amazing. Like I said, that absolutely, I found that to be very nice and very respectful, and I thought I'd point it out. My bad. I'll shut up and let Teresa talk now. Back to my corner.
Like you stay in your corner.
Don't make me turn my mic off.
You're funny. Oh my gosh. Well,
Uh-oh. I made her forget her question.
you did.
Well,
You did.
Well, we're definitely going to have a second episode, so we've got nowhere near into that actually about the Bellaire house. So we're just doing a history and things about Miss Kristin here, and that's wonderful, man. Because
Absolutely.
you are there's some people that I can honestly say in this field that I have. Dawn Short, she's a shaman, and with my shamanistic journey, she's been very beneficial. Callie Cheryl, she's absolutely wonderful with her energy work and feel the energy and stuff. And very open like you are, and both of them are. And you're also another one, too, that I must say that with the people I know in the paranormal, you're three of the most influential ladies. And Christina Rake, with her whole Catholicism and her approach to theology and stuff is amazing. The four of you, and it has to be four women that I absolutely must say are four of the most influential and open people that I know in this field, and that I can tell anybody that I talk to, if you have a question, go see one of these. If it's along Christianity, go see Kristin. If it's along witchcraft and things like that, go see Kristin. If it's energy, go see Callie. If it's shamanism, go see. And I refer people to you guys all the time, believe it or not.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And it's good to have you as that referral source for when people like us don't absolutely have a definitive answer, that we know where to go to find the person that does. You know?
That's all I'm a conduit. I really am in life. I've always done it. Even if we get involved with the paranormal, whatever I was involved in, I've always been able to. I know somebody that needs something, and I know somebody's got something. I'm introduce the two of them, and they can help each other out. And I bow out of it. I don't have anything to do it. I just introduce people and I move on. That's just something I've always done. I was pretty much just a conduit in life. Here, I'll make the connection.
Awesome.
See you later.
That is his thing.
Yeah, I've just always been good at it, so I've always I didn't question it. That's my ability. You guys can see spirits, talk to spirits, get all this energy, give people advice and all this stuff. I make connections. That's it.
We need you. We need you.
I'm like a plug. I just get plugged in the wall and connection gets made, and you unplug me and plug me in somewhere else. I'm good.
Well, you know what I like is that if I needed help with something, me personally, if we had been on a case or whatever, I would not hesitate to call. Kristin, I need help. I don't understand this. Give me a direction, point me in some direction to go to.
And that's what I'm saying. Not only will they do that, but if she don't know, she'll point you in a direction too.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They're so amazing with that honesty and that openness. The 4 women that I named are amazing, and you're one of the top 4. I said it there.
Wow.
I can't take it back. Wow. It's on air.
So what I loved is when we met her last year at Post Town, and
she threw a rock at me.
I had talked to her on
She
Facebook
didn't throw a rock at me. I'm
stuff,
kidding.
But I absolutely loved actually getting to give you a hug.
I know. I remember it. It was lovely. It was like hugging. I don't take this the wrong way because I love my Graham, but that's the energy that was coming out of you, like that pure love, just that unconditional love. Where,
to me, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was
we
like,
got to radiate
wow.
like that.
Yeah,
all of us have to level up to
all
that.
The time.
Mm-mm.
You don't meet people that connect with you like that too often.
No, you don't. Mm-mm. That's like I had a dream about somebody else that I know, and it was such.
Callie, I named her earlier.
Yeah, Callie. I had to ask her the other night, did you have a dream?
Kristin might be able to help you with that. She does. I bet she knows a lot about dreams and stuff.
Well,
maybe.
I had a dream, and it was so vivid. I mean, it was like I'm sitting here right now, that she and I were in front of this beautiful fountain, this water fountain, drinking wine. And we were just talking. And I specifically remember us saying, this is only a dream, don't you? And we said, yeah, but you know what? It just feels so good. And it was just so weird. So
it was, you definitely astroplaned. Well, I don't know. A lot of people might think that's silly, but it happened.
That's amazing.
I asked her, I said, Callie, this is a weird question, but did you happen to dream about a water fountain last night? And she goes, no. She says, I don't know. That she doesn't remember her dreams very often.
I don't remember mine.
And she goes, but I very well could have been, because water fountains make me have to go pee a lot. And I bet I got up 500 times to go to the bathroom. So she said, well, what did it look like? I said, it was a gorgeous water fountain, like a big, huge fountain. And she sent me a picture. I was like, oh, my God, that's it. Well, she had been to Rome a couple years ago, and she sent me a picture of the Trevi Fountain. And that's exactly what it was. I told her, so we were sitting to the left in front of it. I mean, I remember exactly. And she said it was really weird because she was just talking to one of her, a male friend of hers that is getting ready to travel to Rome. And she was telling him that he needed to make sure he saw that fountain.
That's so interesting. Okay, first things first. I was going there, and then you said Rome. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Well, the wine is just representation. Remember, the wine is always blessed. The water is healing energies. Water in Stregoria and also in Catholicism represents Raphael, Archangel Raphael, who is the healing who's the healing archangel. And in Stregoria, he comes from the Western Quarter. West is also water. West is also healing. So if you're starting to feel like you got that extra spunk in your step, and if you're starting to feel a little bit better physiologically, to me, that sounds like you were taken to another level, a higher place of self, a different dimension, if you will, and you were healed. You needed that healing, and you were both there to be healed. Does that make sense?
She's had a rough time here lately.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
That made a lot of sense.
Y'all freak me out with that stuff. I'm going to go play with the trees. I understand that.
Hug them. Hug the trees, Jay. Hug them.
Yeah, I know the trees and the critters out there in them woods. I can understand that. Y'all just freak me out with this stuff. But that's why I come to you guys, because I trust y'all. That's amazing. That's amazing. It is.
It was just something. I thought it was because it was such a vivid. I don't remember dreams a whole lot,
I don't remember any. Thank God.
but I remember that one because it was so vivid.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was like a
the
waking
vivid
dream.
ones like that. Yeah, it feels like velvet. You know what I mean? It's creamy, it's velvet, and that's how you know, at least for me, that's how you know that you're not really dreaming. Someone has taken you to a different dimension. Someone has taken you, a higher force, if you will, a greater power, a greater spirit, whatever you want to call it, has taken you outside of this realm into the other to show you what it's like. Now, if we could only make take a video camera with us when we're there and
Or
prove
harness
to the
that energy
skeptics
all
that
the
that
time.
stuff's real.
And the fact that I
Yeah.
even mentioned in my dream, this isn't a dream, or
It
that
is
is
just
a
a
dream,
dream.
but it felt so good, peaceful.
Mhm.
It was warm. It was comfortable.
I wasn't there. It was peaceful.
That's right.
Oops. Apparently, I was on that. I'm not going to be on her trip to Rome. Damn. Wonder where I got stuck.
Right? Oh, that's funny.
I hope it's not my life insurance paying for this trip.
Never.
That's funny.
Good grief.
Oh well, just want to put that
Just-
point in there.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, just if I kill over and she goes to Rome, we know what she was dreaming of. Yeah, I get rid of that old fart. I can get rid of Rome. I don't think that's fair.
Hey, Teresa, how close was that dream to the full moon lunar eclipse and the comet?
The dream was just last night.
Yeah, the dream was last night.
Or no, 2 nights ago.
Okay.
No, yeah, right. 2 nights ago.
Okay. So what would that have been, Sunday?
Yeah,
Good. Okay,
it
good.
was Sunday night.
Cool.
See,
Okay.
y'all just freak me out with all this stuff. I'm done. I'm just going to turn my mic off.
Mic drop. I like getting confirmations from others, like when I did the remote view over to England.
Kristin now.
Sorry, Kristen.
Oh, it's okay. I love this stuff. I love your stories. I absolutely I
But
adore
really,
them.
what I like about it is with your abilities and your not only just your knowledge and your witch stuff and whatever I can't remember the other word you used. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's Dragoria.
Yeah.
It's Italian witchcraft.
And well, with that, and also with your degrees and stuff, those alone, having somebody in the field with that kind of background and that kind of education stuff, is a huge thing because most people with that kind of background doesn't, like you said earlier, don't want to touch the paranormal. They're afraid like it's a taboo area and stuff. And it's amazing to have that ability because then you can actually tell the difference whether it's somebody that actually needs that paranormal help or they're just batshit crazy like I am.
Well, yeah, a lot of psychologists, in the DSM, the diagnostic manual, people that believe in magic, people that believe in spirit and stuff like that, there's actually a diagnosis for that, and it's incorrect. It's absolutely absurd and it's incorrect. It's not right, and that needs to change. I'm not going to be the one. I won't change it. I don't have the strength to change that. But one day someone will, and I can't wait until that someone actually challenges that. I hope I'm still alive. I'll probably be like 80, 90 years old, sitting in a recliner with my new cats, and just cheering them on with my false teeth falling out of my mouth or something.
Right.
I'll be right there with you, I hope.
That's right.
Well, I'll be in one nursing home watching CNN.
And an alarm, like it'll be a haunted one at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, I know, right? We'll be in our walkers. Jay, did you get to K2? Teresa, did you hear that?
Jim have it taped to the front of his walker.
No, I know what'll happen. I'll end up in some separate room because I've pissed off somebody. You guys will send all the ghosts. Hey, go over and mess with Jay. They'll still think he's crazy. They'll give him extra meds tonight. He'll be quiet.
And if we get the piss scared out of us, they'll just think we're old. They'll just change our diaper. They won't know it has anything to do with paranormal.
Teresa has that happen now.
I did get scared the last time I was at Post Town, and I peed myself.
A little bit.
Aw, that's
I have
so
never
fun.
felt that way before, though.
No, but I can't wait to go to the
Oh,
Bellaire
my
house. We've been
goodness.
talking about it for over a year now. We got to make a
Yes.
date this year. This summer, we need to get to the Bellaire house, come hell or high water.
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely.
That would be great. Yeah, yeah. I'll be on the. I'm so fortunate right now because I work from home and I don't get out much, other than go to the Bellaire house to meet teams and stuff like that, or go to the grocery store or my son's school functions and stuff like that. So now that we've aired on TV, people have invited me to come to Paracons, and I have a Paracon scheduled once a month until like November. So I get to leave my home for like 3 to 4 days once a month and just travel.
Oh, how fun.
That's
So
awesome.
cool.
Maybe we'll see
Yeah.
some of these Paracons because, I mean, I know we'll see it Post Town at their non-con.
And we'll
Yep.
probably see
Are
her at
you guys-
Mid-South.
Mid-South, and then Jason asked me to come to the Hannah house in
Oh, good.
August.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Hannah
Probably
house
see
meet
you
and
there.
greet.
Go to that too.
We'll probably see there because we usually go. We missed last year, but we usually go to it every year.
Yeah.
So there's at least 3 times that we'll know we'll see you at cons.
I know, and it's going to be so cool to catch up with everybody.
Absolutely.
It'll be like Christmas, you know?
That's right. It's just I like the cons because it's like a family reunion.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I'm really stoked.
Well, great.
Yeah. The only one that I didn't get to, I just couldn't fit into my schedule was the Salem con. But, because I love Salem. I lived in Salem, Mass for so long. But I'll be, the last 2 weeks of October, I'll actually be going back to Salem. I don't know if I'm going to work. We're still talking about that. Because I did do psychic work in Salem during the Festival of the Dead. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. I'm still on the fence with that. But just going back there, if no one has ever gone to Salem, go. Absolutely go.
I've wanted to go.
I know that and a lot of people say that there's a lot of, witch politics and commercializing things. But you have the best of the best during the month of October
I would like to
in
go,
Salem.
but I'd like to go with someone like you or somebody that's been there,
Hmm.
that knows, like, places to go, things to see.
Yeah.
Every back
the-
alley I can find.
Right.
That's
That's
where
right.
I'm going to head
That's
to.
right.
I am. I'm
Yep.
going to go off the beaten path. That's where I'm going to go to. Everybody else is on 1st and 2nd Street. I'm going to be up on 5th, 6th, and 8th and 12th Street. I'm going to be back in the back places where most of the commercial police people don't go. That's just where I enjoy
That's
that.
right.
That's
And
when
that's
we went on
exactly what I
vacation
do.
Down in South Carolina, we stopped and we asked the locals, where do you guys go to hang out?
Oh, they're like, you go this? I said, no. What restaurant do you go eat at? If you go out, well, we go over here to this little bar over here and
That's where
throw
we
darts and
headed.
have beer. So that's where I'll meet you guys at later. I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool.
well, we're about over with this episode. Believe it or not, it's almost been an hour already, and we have not
Wow.
begun to touch on the Bellaire house yet, or about the episode. So, we would love to invite you back to have a part
Okay.
2.
Absolutely. Sure.
So-
We have to work next time, guys. We have to work.
That's
Yes,
right. That's
and we
right.
did tonight, but we got to talk more about, and people got to find out more about Kristin and what all you do,
Right.
and how that's one thing. And how can we do want to get out? How can they contact to book the Bellaire house? And if somebody wanted a reading from you, can they get a hold of you in any way to get a reading?
Yeah, absolutely. The best thing to do is the easiest thing to do. Everybody has social media. Is just put in your search bar of Facebook Bellaire House, and then on that Bellaire House Facebook page is our website. And inside of the website is a link to my personal page where I do psychic readings, and my calendar is there. Inside of that website, it's thebellairehouse.webs.com. And then inside of that is my personal website. It's highpriestesskristinlee.webs.com. And my calendar's in there. So if anybody, I'm going to be traveling this year to different states. So if anybody in the States is local on the states that I'm going to be in, I would absolutely love to meet everybody face to face instead of actually face to face on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, we
And,
thank you so much.
Wait a minute, she's
Oh,
still
I'm
trying
sorry.
to get a hold of her.
I'm sorry. I'm so
No, go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah,
You're fine.
just the old-fashioned way too. Just call, and the phone numbers are on the Facebook page, the Bellaire House page. That's actually my cell phone number. I'm not changing it. That's, text me, call me. If I don't get back to you real quick, I'm either on a psychic consultation or helping someone, but I will call you back. I'm old-fashioned when it comes to communication. I like to talk to people on the phone.
That's awesome. And that is Bellaire with 2 L's, Bellaire. So Bellaire House on Facebook, and you can find it on there and get all your links to all the other places. So go check them out. Kristin, thank you as always for coming on. We love talking with you, and it's been wonderful.
Thank you, guys. I love you guys too. We'll do this again. I can't wait.
Absolutely. So y'all stay tuned for a part 2 coming next week.
All right.
Thank you.
You guys have a good night. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Love you guys.
Love you. Good night.
You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.